Hi there, welcome to Subpar Stitches. My name is Hillary and this is my Flosstube channel. So I got back from StitchCon on Sunday. So my voice is actually, I didn't fully lose my voice this time, but it is a little bit scratchy and I'm sure it'll get worse as the video goes on. So let's see how quickly we can get through this to preserve what I have. And also, I don't think I showed this last time, but I did get a haircut, or maybe haircut is not drastic enough of a word, but I did shave a third of my head. And it's been great. I do need to shave it again because it's getting a little long, but what can you do? I need to buy my own pair of clippers so I don't have to go to the barber every time. But yeah, I feel like I have a lot to show you, yet not a lot of progress to show you, which I don't know if that makes sense. I didn't really work on a ton of my current whips. I did have a few new starts and a couple of finishes and things like that, so maybe that's why I feel that way. But let's hop right into it. And I first want to start with my shout out segment. I really wanted to shout out Aliz Z is Crafty, because at StitchCon, she gave me a big old box of nail polish that she didn't want. And if you guys don't know, I actually started on YouTube with nail polish content. My nail polish channel is called Mediocre Manis, and I think I keep it linked in the description. Who knows? I'm not great at self-promotion, but she knew that I was really into nail polish, and she was doing a little bit of a de-stash, and she was like, hey, do you want all this nail polish that I don't? And I was like, yes. So probably at the same time that this video is going up, I'm gonna have a video on my Mediocre Manis channel going through that box and seeing like kind of like a mystery box, like, ooh, what did I get? You know, and what am I gonna keep for my collection? What might I pass along to some people who I know would like those polishes, that sort of thing. And those are always really fun to film and watch. So, but yeah, Aliz Z, she doesn't post as frequently as I would like, but she has a really big, fun, like sweet personality. She stitches a lot of different things. She has a very loud way of like dressing. She's got like shocking pink hair, which I love. I just love when people are like unapologetically like the brightest they can be. And I was talking to somebody else at StitchCon. It was Cross Stitch the Globe, Stephanie, and she said she has a social battery that never ends. And oh my God, she does. Like she could talk to every single person in the StitchCon room and still be ready to go do more. I do not have that kind of social battery. I respect that. I don't like fully buy into like, oh, I'm an introvert or I'm an extrovert, like kind of stuff. Because I feel like everybody has like elements of both. But I feel like Aliz Z is like the one true extrovert on this earth. So if you would like to check out her channel, I will have her link down below in the description box. Highly recommend you go give her a follow. She's also on Instagram. So if you want to follow her there as well, that would be great. So I have one FFO, but it feels kind of like a cheater FFO because it's like once you stitch it, it's pretty much already fully finished. And this was part of the table gift from Erin and Amity of the Hathaway Stitchers. Individually, they are Boomerang Stitches and Cozy Town Stitches over on Instagram, but their YouTube channel is Conjoined Hathaway Stitchers, and they are sisters. And if you're living under a rock, Amity Boomerang Stitches, she is the designer behind Boomerang Stitches. Lots of wonderful designs there. If you haven't seen them, a lot of like fun, kind of Charlie Harper inspired nature stuff. So check her out too, because she is my favorite designer. But they gave out these little like, I think they're like 3D printed boxes that you can use as like a little Ort jar. And on the front, they have this grid here, and Amity charted everybody's initials, and I ended up using different colors than were charted. They were like, yeah, it doesn't matter. I just thought these colors looked really good with this kind of army green. But yeah, really fun to stitch. Really simple, but I did have to have Erin pull the thread through the back a few times to anchor it for me because my nails, I just could not grip the needle, couldn't pull it through. I was struggling. And then once you're done, there's like a little plastic piece that you just pop right in here, and then it covers up all your stitching. And then I have a little travel Ort case, and there's like a variety of people who make these types of boxes in different shapes, sizes, and colors. I believe they said they got them on Etsy. but I just thought it was a really cute little, I love a trinket, you know? So that was my FFO, my fully finished object, if you will. And then I have a couple of finished objects, or FOs. So I did bring along with me my Noël en Rouge pattern by Lila's, I forget every time, because everybody says it differently, and then I relearn the correct way, and then I immediately forget. But Lila's and or Lila's Studios. This was a set of 4 ornaments that are predominantly focused in red, and they are like little Christmas sweaters, and then you can turn them into ornaments. And I had finished 3 of the 4. I only had 1 left. And on my smalls rotation, it was so far away, and I was like, I just want to finish this so that I can get the pattern out of rotation, because it's so close. There's no reason to let it sit. So here's the finished little sweater. I think it's the most colorful out of the 4. I stitched this on a 32 count ivory Jobelin by Witchell with DMC. Like I said, I knew there wasn't that much left, or at least I felt like there wasn't. So I thought I could bang this out like in a couple hours tops. Turns out there was like 1,000 stitches left. No, can't do that in a couple hours. And also it has like the most fiddly, like little like single stitches everywhere. And because this Jobelin is so thin, you can't really travel without concerns. So I keep looking over at my viewfinder because for some reason my camera keeps going out of focus. I don't know why the autofocus isn't working, but I don't know. This Jobelin, I don't like it. There was like a cross stitch website when I was first getting like heavy into cross stitch. They were like going out of business, and it was all picked over, but they were like, oh, we have this Jobelin. I was like, never heard of that. Let me buy that. And there were these like weird long strips, and I got like 3 of them for like $1 a piece. And I didn't like it, but I was like, I might as well use it for something. So I felt like it was a good neutral background to these sweaters. But now that I have all 4 of them done, I can FFO them someday. But when things are in a set like that, I prefer to fully finish them all together so there's like some level of consistency. And then the other thing that I finished was actually a start and finish. This was our kind of like, I guess I'd call it an unofficial table sale. We always like pick something and do a sale together. And Tara from Wilder Woman Crafts, she found these, I believe, in the World of Cross Stitching. I think they just came out with a new issue, so I think it was like the one before the most recent issue. I think it's like the July issue, because I'm pretty sure the August issue just came out. And these are the folk art postcards by Durene Jones. There were 6 to choose from, and the colors are getting so blown out. I promise this is like way more neon in real life. I wonder if I hold it back. But yeah, there were 6 to choose from in 2 different color palettes. There was this like fiery pink and oranges one, and then there was like a blue and purple one. I chose this because I brought this fabric with me. This is 32 count opalescent Margarita by Hand Dyed by Rolanda. It is so much brighter in person. And I took this with me knowing that I really wanted to use it, and I was going to force something. And luckily our little table start fit the bill. I still have so much left. Can't wait to find something else to use it with. I wish I could photograph neons because this is eye-searing, like in real life. And the opalescent just really adds a fun layer. I think Margarita is the perfect name for this. And then kind of to go along with that, Erin was looking in the annex and she found this like finishing kit from a brand called Creative Cuts and Crafts. And it's like this like light wood, and there's like 3 pieces. And I'll pop up a picture of how they had finished something, but we realized that these would fit kind of dead in the center of that little oval right there. So I picked one up, Tara picked one up, and Erin picked one up. And I think Erin from EW French Knots also picked one up. But we were like, oh, perfect. We can finish our projects. So those were all of my FFOs and FOs, and now I have a couple of new starts. And the first new start I had was Pigeon and Puddle, and this is by the Blue Flower. And I think this is the first blue flower that I've ever done. And I picked up a thread pack from Pirate and Robin because I'd been wanting to try out their threads and it just looked really bright and punchy. So I'm doing the Pirate and Robin conversion. This is on a 32 count Sahara linen by Zweigart. And I really just wanted to get to the pigeon. So I started in such a way that I could. I wanted to get to the pigeon because I don't know if you can see that neck variegation on that thread there. I just was like, I have to check this out because the thread itself is literally called pigeon. And when you look at that, that is straight up pigeon colors. So I was like, I have to get to that one. But this was just one day's worth of stitching. I felt like it went pretty quick. I can't wait to get back to this just because I was really enjoying the threads. I will say, people told me that they'd heard they were drier, and I definitely agree that these are some of the drier, probably the driest threads I've ever used. But I didn't have any issues actually stitching with them on the fabric. They were pretty smooth going through. I didn't have any like knotting or anything. Whereas like with DMC, which love you girl, DMC, you're a workhorse. But like DMC isn't even really dry, and I constantly get knots in my DMC, but these I had no knots despite that kind of initial dry feeling. So I would not, if you've heard that about Pirate and Robin, but you really want to try them out, I wouldn't let that stop you. I would definitely get a couple, because like the pigeon color, like I said, is really cool. This blue is called Glacier, and it's really pretty. And this orange, it's called Ember, and it is just such a good orange. I gotta clean up my skeins a little bit, but you know. I have a paper pattern for this, and I made copies of everything and like gathered all my threads and stuff before I left. But turns out I forgot to copy the page with the key on it, and I was like, ah, crap, and now I can't start this. And somebody at my table was like, pretty sure I saw somebody stitching it across the room. I bet if you went and asked her, she would let you, you know, copy down the key or whatever. And so I'm like prowling around the outside of the room, like hoping that I see like somebody stitching Pigeon and Puddle. And there was a woman there who her whole head was shaved and she was working on it. And I was like, perfect. She's going to see my partially shaved head and she's going to feel camaraderie with me and she's going to let me copy her key. And I'm like, I went up to her and I like tapped her on the shoulder and she was like in the middle of blowing her nose. And I was like, great. I have no social graces here. I was like, hey, I was about to start that, but I forgot my key. And she let me take a picture and I was like, thank you. So she saved my life. So I didn't even get her name, but thank you. If I doubt you watched me, but if you do, thank you for saving my life. And then my other new start was the Belle Frog Purse. This one was from the Nashville 2025. This is by the Primitive Hair. The fabric, it's a 30 count linen by the Primitive Hair. I'm pretty sure it came as like a whole kit, but it doesn't come with the threads, but it comes with everything else. So I have the outline done. It looks like a green ghost, but it's going to be a little like frog purse. And I bought this last year on my way to StitchCon, and it comes with all the finishing stuff. So you've got like some kind of fabric and felts and stuff. I haven't fully read the finishing instructions. I'll get there when I get there. But I have, you know, literally just all fill-in left. And it's like literally thousands of stitches. But I'm using an Almond M&M's silk that I bought at StitchCon last year specifically for this. It's called Kalamata. It's just a fun brown and green. And I think you can kind of see the brown coming in at the top. I think it's going to look really fun. It has beads with it. I don't fully comprehend where the beads go yet. But then it's got like, for the mouth, like it's got one of these types of like, you like twist it and then that little thing there is a crown that goes on the frog's head. So it's going to be cute. And I just figure like, this will be a good project for when I want to stitch, but I don't have a lot of focus in me because, like I said, it's quite literally all fill-in at this point. So it'll be good for, I don't know, Zoom calls that I'm never on. Next up are whips, and I didn't get, like, as much progress as I thought because I only worked on my large and my small. I didn't even touch my medium in the past couple weeks just because it's been so busy. And actually, I didn't even think I was going to touch my large project because I just was working on other stuff. And then yesterday I got home from work and I realized, well, I have a long weekend. I can stay up late. It was Thursday. So I played some video games and then I was like, let me see if I can't finish the tarot card like I said I was gonna, which I hadn't even touched. And I still had almost 1,000 stitches. Well, I stayed up till 2 a.m. and I finished card number 1, but the second full card, the Magician. So I did realize when I was doing the back stitch, I made exactly one stupid error, and it is in the rabbit's bow tie. I don't know how I made those polka dots white. They're supposed to be one of these pinks from up in the ears, but I didn't care enough to rip them out. So this one didn't have too much back stitching. There was some around the cross on his head, or her head, her little eyelashes, which kind of make her look evil. There was a little bit of back stitching in the bow tie, and then of course the big old pentagram on the hat. So the next card will be card number 2, and it is going to be the Priestess, and it is a cat, and I did preemptively look at the back stitching. There's a little bit more back stitching in that card, and there's like some French knots, so that one will be fun. No, but it does have way less like finicky stitching. You can see there's a lot of like little like individual stitches just around on this one, and I was like, oh my god, please, why did you do this to me? That's so evil. But on the Priestess there's less of that, but the trade-off is more back stitching and French knots, which I don't hate. It's just like when you finish all the stitching on something, you're like, yes, I'm done, but you're not done. You're not done. And so it kind of like sucks the wind out of you. I don't feel like folding this back up. I'm just gonna do that later. But yeah, doing good. So I think the next card will take me maybe 3-ish weeks. They're all around, like, at least the ones I've done so far are roughly around 4,000 or 4,500 stitches. So I think I can bang that out in 3 weeks time with the allocated time that I've been giving them. And then my other whip, which I'm not taking it out of the hoop, but this is Oak by Shitpost Samplers. Oh, I forgot. Nostalgic Tarot is being stitched on a 14 count black Ada by DMC, I think? Yeah, and I'm using all DMC. And then Oak by Shitpost Samplers. This is an 18 count white Ada by DMC, using DMC, and I don't know, I've lost steam on it. I'm just going so slow. I'm just over halfway done, I believe. I finished the P itself, and now I'm doing all the little like fun purple bits, so that's been good. And then I'll just have the E left, so I'm trying to force myself to finish this in the next 2 weeks, but we'll see if my work life allows that to happen, because this is the one that I take to work with me and I do on my downtime. We did just lose another employee so who knows what my work day is going to look like from here on out. Because what they do, like any good office, is instead of hiring someone new, they just make everybody do more work for the same amount of money. So those were all my whips, unfortunately. Like I said, I feel like I got a lot done, yet I didn't get anything done. It was like kind of weird. But let's go into the haul. So, like I said, I did go to StitchCon Weekend A. I had a blast. We stayed up until 2 a.m. or later every single night, and then we were like in the stitching room like bright and early the next day. I was exhausted by the end. Like when I got home, I had to stop driving several times and like walk around because I was like, I'm falling asleep. Like this is not great. And I saw so many accidents on my car ride home. I was just like, all right, I don't want to be one of them. But then as soon as I got home, I was like, I'm taking a nap. And that's not something I do. I'm anti-nap. I'm not into naps. I hate when people take naps. I'm just like, you're wasting your day. No offense to people who take naps. My husband, he's pro-nap. He's a nap enjoyer. And I'm just like, don't you want to be productive for every single waking hour of your life? he says no. But on my way down to StitchCon, I made a little bit of a pit stop over at Craft Gallery, which is in Findlay, Ohio. And I went there because last time I was there, I had found out that they did framing. Well, I guess I knew preemptively that they did framing because I had seen on Sarah's Stitchery that they did framing, but I wanted to kind of like scope it out because I knew that I was going to be finishing my Pokemon at some point, and I wanted somebody who specialized in cross-stitch framing to frame that because I put so much time and effort into it. And so I was like asking her, the lady who runs the shop, I was like, hey, I live like 2 hours away. Do you guys accept like projects by mail? And she was like running me through that. And I was like, yeah, because I really want to bring in this project and it's pretty big. And I was like explaining it to her and she's like, yeah, if you just like send it in. And I was like, actually, I have it in the car. Can we get like the dimensions right now? And she was like, oh yeah, bring it inside. So she measured it out, got me a quote, let me pick out my frame and everything. And then she was like, when are you coming back from StitchCon? I told her on Sunday, and they're not open on Sunday. So I just was like, oh, I'll just mail it in. She's like, well, we have like a stitching group that's going to be here. So if you come between this window of time, you can just come up, knock on the door. It'll be locked. Just knock and somebody will come up and take your project from you. And sure enough, they did. I stopped in on Sunday, dropped Pokemon off. I no longer have it. It is being framed by Craft Gallery. I can't wait to see what it looks like because her quote was so good. It was, the entire project was like 2 feet tall, 18 inches wide. And previously when I've gotten stuff professionally framed smaller than that, it's like my I Want to Believe poster. Like that one cost me over $300 to get framed. And that's half the size. She quoted me $240. And I was like, I think they saw shock on my face because there was like a couple stitchers there too. They were like, how much did you think it was going to be? I was like, I thought you were going to tell me $500 to be quite honest. And so I was impressed. So we'll see how it turns out. I picked the blue frame, very excited. And then while I was there, I was like, well, now I got to buy something from the shop because I'm here, right? I made the trek. So I got 2 patterns. I got the Animal Crackers Lily, which is the frog, and you guys have seen this. I'm not going to take it out of the package because everybody and their mother has seen these Animal Cracker series, but Lily was one that I really wanted to do. I want to do that slug too, but I'm probably going to make this an over 1 project because stitched on 36 count, it's still 6.5 inches tall, and I want it to be itty bitty. So I think I'm going to do it over 1. I got to run some measurements to kind of decide, but I want to find like a sunflower yellow color for her dress because I know everybody's all kind of customizing the dress color, and I think that like a nice little sunflower yellow one would be fun for me because I love yellow. And then I have talked about this in the past, but this is Independence Day by Silver Creek Samplers. I will take this one out. Not a patriotic person. I've never been a patriotic person. But there's so many patriotic stitches in cross stitch. And so I'm like missing out on a whole genre of patterns, but I was like, oh, I'll never stitch anything patriotic. Then I saw this and I was like, okay, I would do that one because I love a bug and I thought it was funny. So I did end up picking this up, and just speaking of like patriotism and stuff like that, I'm losing my mind over all the tourists who are here for the FIFA World Cup and like them just like losing their minds over like our food and our scenery and like all these like Europeans who like previously were like, God, America, ew. They're just like, oh my God, Golden Corral, like of all places, Sonic, like it's so funny and it's so innocent and I'm just kind of obsessed. And I saw somebody say that they're all going to go home with a red 40 withdrawal. And I thought that was really funny. But somebody mentioned that they're like the tourists are going to be here like during the 4th of July for our 250th anniversary. And that is going to be an experience for sure. But yeah, I picked up the 2 patterns from Craft Gallery, and that is all I got there because I was like, well, I'm going to be dropping off this to get framed. So, and then I got, the StitchCon haul. So I am just going to dig through this and pull some stuff out that are definitely like the big highlights, because there's too much in here to go through everything between like what I bought and gifts from people and the freebie table. But the first thing I absolutely want to highlight is my name tag from Chandria Carroll. She went above and beyond here. So first of all, she got everybody like a custom name tag holder. She asked us all like what our favorite colors were. And I'm like, okay. And this was why, because she was like picking fabrics based off of our favorite colors. And she had somebody on Etsy she commissioned who made us all different, like they picked out the fabrics and everything. On the back, it's got like a little mesh screen. On the front, it's got like a little zippered pocket. And then you can see like little egg fabric, which is also in the pocket. And then the person who made this, it's like the thickest, squishiest pocket here. I love it. And then Chandria stitched us all name tags from the Boomerang Stitches pattern. And down here is where I can put like all of my social media stuff. I just didn't do that yet. But I just cannot believe she did that. Like, everybody's looked so good. I was so impressed. And I'm actually like a name tag hater. I do not enjoy wearing a name tag. I do not want to be identified. I don't know why. I might be a sovereign citizen somehow. I don't know. I'm not. Trust me, I'm not. But I like, and I feel like a dork if I go out in public when I forget to take my name tag off. This one I was like fine to leave on. I was like actively enjoying, like I was like, oh, I can't wait to go in and put on my little name tag from Chandria. So thank you so much, Chandria, because I had been wanting to stitch this pattern and I just never did. And if you guys remember my StitchCon video from last year, I had tried to stitch my own name tag and like it just did not look good. So thank you, Chandria, for saving me from having to do that all over again. And then Karen from Stitching Past My Bedtime, she gave us all these like 3D printed, like you can like clamp it to the table, and then it's supposed to be like to hang floss, but you could definitely use it for like a not so heavy bag, I think, too. And I thought that was a really useful tool. Stephanie from Cross Stitch the Globe was handing out these little like weighted chickens that she gets from, I think it was like, she said her LNS. So cute. I was like, I have to hide this because my husband will steal it. And then, like I mentioned earlier, Erin and Amity, they had given out like the little initial boxes, but then they also gave out these pouches that it like snaps closed, because you remember those slappy bracelets that you had when you were a kid? That's what's in here. And so that's really fun. So I was using this to put like tons and tons of like my trinkets in. So let me show you some of the trinkets. So Tamara from Stitchy Tamara, she gave us all this felted eyeball. Like everybody got a different eyeball color. And then I was losing my mind. And then like there was a scissor fob that has a tooth bead on it, and that's in my work stitching pouch. And then of course we've got this like kind of Shrek sticker that says whore. And then there was another kind of big fob in here that was all green and yellow, which are a couple of my favorite colors. And there was a needle minder. It's somewhere in here, and it's got like a Furby on it. So they all had like different Furbies on it. I got one with a jester on it, and I'm obsessed. There were a lot of people's like go-to pass out is needle minders, and you know, you can never have enough. By the way, this is where all my needle minders were. The thing, I was playing video games the other day and I just heard this crash. It just like fell, boom, and then I like looked back and I was like, and then I just kept playing video games. And I have not considered even figuring out how to finish or fix it. But somebody was giving out like Disney needle minders, and they had Mulan, which Mulan is my favorite. So I had to get that. And then somebody else was giving out this really interesting needle minder. They are called the Fob Factory, and also Pouches by Paige. It looks like there's two separate people here, but it is a beading tray needle minder. So it's kind of hard to see. Yeah, there we go. It's like this like plastic case, and it's a needle minder. You know, there's a magnet on the back, and you can put your beads in there and stick it directly onto your project, which is really interesting. And it looks like it's got like a sticky stuff in there so that the beads don't go everywhere. But I was really fascinated by that. I'm excited to try that out. Oh, it even has like a chatelaine sticker in there, which makes me think this would be great for when I start my chatelaine. This I did buy. It's like a box turtle needle minder from Fine Frog Stitching. Don't need a needle minder. Don't really use them. I just like them. I don't know. Somebody gave out scissors, which could always use more scissors. Somebody was giving out these little bags. There's like a classic Colorworks in there, a little frog, and a owl sticker. I think the owl sticker didn't come with it. I think it came with it. I think it was just not something I just shoved in there. But, you know, nice little skein of classic Colorworks, which that couldn't be cheap to give out because they were giving them out to everybody in the room, which is crazy. Oh, Milka, she bought me a shirt with Shrek on it, which I immediately wore the next day. But she also gave me this I forgot pin. Super cute. And it was so nice of her to give me that. I'm known as like the Shrek girly, so like she saw that like Shrek shirt. It said, "Can't today, I'm swamped." And it was just very nice of her to think of me. And then somebody was giving out, they're called the Pink Stitchers. They were giving out like these trims. And I was thinking it might go well with finishing my flower from earlier. And then there's like a lot of like freebie stuff in here. Let me see. So one of the things that was in our StitchCon bag, it was this big StitchCon thing from Chantel's 141. And I think it's like a pattern board where you can see there's like a bunch of pieces in the back there. And you can like set it up and like set up your paper patterns. So then of course, when I was in the annex at StitchCon, I was like I said, you know, I was like, I will never stitch patriotic. I'm not a patriotic girl. I'm not going to stitch patriotic. I bought 2 more patriotic patterns. But like, look at this man. Seaside Sparrow. This is Artful Offerings. I was just like, oh my God, I'm obsessed with him. He's a dapper little gentleman. And then this one really, I kind of surprised myself buying this, but this one is also Artful Offerings. It's America's Grand Celebration, but I was just obsessed with this like goose. I just really care about the goose. So I had to buy that. And it looks like, oh, I didn't even see this. So you can, there's like a couple charts in here. And there's one to celebrate the semi-quincentennial, the 250th anniversary, which that word is too long. Like, let's not. And then there's a 4th of July one as well. So on the back, they have a little image of the 4th of July one. So that's cool. And then the other chart that I bought in the annex was the Ye Honk Saloon by Fine Frog. I just sucker for a goose, sucker for a cowboy. It says, "Welcome to the Ye Honk Saloon, the premier establishment to rest up after a long dusty day of wrangling and waddling." Oh, on the back it even tells you how many stitches are in this. It's 4,779. Good to know. And I think that was actually all I bought. I did get like, you know, a bunch of freebies and stuff from friends and from the freebie table, but I did want to show you, Tara found these on the freebie table. These are called the Flock, and you can either stitch like these little standees, or there's like 12 of these and you can do one big pattern. And obviously we're doing the standees. So they only had 7 of the 12, so I might hunt down the rest, but there's the landing bird, the heart bird, the striped bird, the target bird, baby dot bird, and the blue polka dot bird. And, oh, there's one more here. Yellow polka dot bird. And they're just so goofy. I feel that I must get them all and make little standees. So yeah, you can see in the bottom corner here, like that's what like the full chart looks like if that's what you're doing. But and it shows you, it has inside, it has like a little like instruction on how to do the wiring. So that was like the cool freebie. And then I don't think they'll take that long. And then I'll pass them back to Tara so she can stitch them as well. And then we did hit up this place called The Sticker Shop that was nearby. And I think a lot of us spent more on stickers than anything else. I've already stuck a couple of my stickers, but I did get a few that I still don't know where to go. But it just says, I'm literally just a little bug in bed, which honestly, true. And then this like Katamari Damashi. It's hard to say in English. I don't know. But it says Gambate on it, which means like try your best in Japanese. And it's like super holographic. And then I saw this. I keep like shoving this in my bag and it keeps getting like crinkled, but it flattened right back out. This is like it's like a bumper sticker, but it's actually a magnet. It says, on my way to find a trinket that will fix me on the inside. So I had to have that for my truck. And then I was just intrigued by this. It's called a magic pencil. It equals 100 pencils. And it has this like weird, like fully graphite tip that you can, I don't know, you don't need to sharpen it. It's like a steel barrel. Seems pretty cool. So we'll see. We'll see how that ends up. It was only like $10, so if it sucks, it sucks. But yeah, that's all the haul that I feel like showing because there's just so many patterns. As far as plans go, like I said, I didn't really work on my medium project, so this weekend is a long weekend. I have today off. Today's Friday, Juneteenth. So I will be working on that today, Saturday, and Sunday. I believe the first day of summer is Sunday. I'll have to double check. But if that's the case, then I'm going to start my next quarter of the Nature's Journey sale by Sprouting Lupine. I do need to organize this. Don't know if I'm gonna. And I plan to hopefully have finished my, what do you call it? My OPE project by the next time you see me, but we'll see. And then my last little segment is reading, watching, playing. So this is just like the media I've been consuming over the past couple weeks. I listened to the next Bridgerton book in the series, To Sir Philip with Love. I really liked it. This was Eloise's story. It's the first book that I'd gotten to which hadn't covered like anything in the show yet, so it was all new to me. And I also really liked that Eloise was coming into like the relationship with a man who had children from his previous marriage, and she was like fully like, these are my kids now, you know. And I don't know, I thought like you don't really see that in like media in general, where like the step parent is like fully embracing being the step parent, but also in like this era, I feel like that would be kind of unusual. I don't know enough about the Regency era or whatever it is, but yeah, I just thought that was a really interesting perspective. As far as watching goes, Rob made me watch Scarface. I loved it. I don't watch classics ever. Like, I'm really bad about watching like any movie that everybody's seen. I'm like, I've never seen that. So I'm trying to be better about it, and I'm trying to get more of those classics under my belt. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a good movie. The transitions between like time and scene are really weird, but I think that's just like the era it was filmed in. And then 2 nights ago, we watched on HBO, it's like a 3-part docuseries called Big Girls Wanted, Escaping Paradise. And it is about this German man who came to the US, became like a gajillionaire, and then set up a mansion where he was, depending on what side you're on, he was either inviting or kind of targeting and grooming fat women, predominantly younger fat women, to come and live on what is essentially his little culty compound mansion, because he has like a BBW fetish, and they're big on TikTok, and it just kind of talks through some of that. It is very strange. The guy is weird. He's a creep. I feel bad for those girls because I know I say girls, but they were, I mean, they're adult women, but like they were young, they were vulnerable, and this guy like specifically targets them, I think, because of those reasons. I will say there are like sexual assault discussions in the series, so just be aware of that. Obviously, fetishization of large women. If you're not comfortable with that, again, you might want to skip this one, but it was a very fascinating look into seeing like women who were still living there and who really loved the place, and then women who left the place. And they even spoke very highly of like, I finally felt like a place where I was accepted and I didn't feel like I was out of place. And so it was really interesting to see those women with that perspective, but still be like, this place is dangerous, you know? But that is on HBO. And then I'm trying to 100% Rat Coin. So I've been playing that nonstop. No other video games lately. And then usually I don't really talk about music because I'm deaf. So I'm not like a big like music freak. I don't really have like a ton of artists where I'm like, I'm obsessed with them. However, when I was driving home from StitchCon, I pulled over because I was like, I need to walk around, gotta use the bathroom, whatever. Open my phone and I see that Oliver Tree died in a helicopter accident. And I was like, please say psych, because Oliver Tree is my favorite musician. I've been listening to him since I was in college when I first found him. He's like one of the most creative, interesting, funny, just seems really nice kind of people. And it just felt like so unreal. But he did, like, and it's just crazy. And like, I'm usually not affected by celebrity deaths, but Oliver Tree, whenever he released a new album, I was there. New music video, I was there. I was like right on top of it the day it came out. So like for 3 hours when I was driving home from StitchCon, all I did was listen to Oliver Tree. So I just was like, I've been like bummed out. I don't know. Like I said, the last time I was affected by a celebrity death this hard was when Leonard Nimoy died. And like, these are the only two that I've ever really been like truly like torn up about. So it really sucks. And he was only 32. And one of his biggest fears he's talked about in an interview was like falling to his death. And that's exactly what happened. And so it like makes it feel like extra, like you got punched in the gut for that. So it really sucks. And I just hope that all his family and friends are doing okay. And we will miss him. So, but yeah, my throat is starting to hurt from talking. So I'm going to leave it at that. I am going to go see the back rooms with my husband, and hopefully it doesn't suck. I've heard good things, so we'll see. But I hope you guys have a good couple of weeks stitching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.